Hi everyone, welcome. We are going to give folks just another minute or two to join us and then we'll get started. All right, let's get started. Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Guzzi. I am the Assistant Director of Admissions here at Harvard Divinity School. I'm also an MTS alum. I graduated in 2015 with a degree in Women, Gender, Sexuality, and Religion. So I'm actually going to turn off my camera so you can focus on the PowerPoint. I will take you through a bit of an overview about HDS, and then we will turn it over to a conversation with Diane Moore about the Mrpl. So thank you so much for joining us. Okay, so we will start with an overview of HDS. Located in Cambridge, Massachusetts, Harvard Divinity School is one of Harvard's 12 graduate and professional schools. HDS was founded in 1816 and is the most religiously pluralistic divinity school in the world, representing over 30 faith traditions, including students who aren't affiliated with any faith tradition. HDS brings together scholars of religion in conversation with religious practitioners as both learning partners and community members. Our degree programs lead to infinite pathways with alums in every field and industry who value ethical leadership, religious literacy, and service-oriented, mission-driven work. To give you a snapshot of who is in our community, this is some data from our most recent incoming class. So there are 90 MTS students, 44 MDiv students, and 1 THM student, and no Mrpl students since this is a brand new program. In the incoming class, 52% identify as female, 32% as male, and 16% as non-binary. The average age is 25, but the age range goes all the way from 20 through 56. HDS students reported over 30 different religious affiliations. Students of color comprise 36% of the incoming class, and then international students made up another 14%. In addition, the incoming class represents over 99 colleges and universities, which really just highlights that we have students coming from a really diverse array of institutions and academic trainings. So here are our 4 degree programs. The Master of Divinity, or the MDiv, prepares graduates for chaplaincy and ministry, very broadly conceived, or a range of other careers that center around service and ethical leadership. The Master of Theological Studies, or MTS, enables students to explore deeply and broadly the languages, literatures, thought, institutions, practices, normative claims, and structures of a variety of theological fields and religious traditions. The Master of Theology program, or the THM, is for applicants who already hold an MDiv, and it's designed to allow students to explore a topic in great depth or delve into a new topic that impacts their ministry, whatever that might look like. The Master of Religion and Public Life, or Mrpl, which is what we're here to chat about tonight, is a brand new, recently launched degree program, and it's for applicants who are experienced professionals who wish to develop in-depth knowledge of the ways religion influences public life in their field. So here are some resources that we have at HDS. We have 5 affiliated programs and centers, as you see listed on the slide, including our brand new program for the evolution of spirituality. Spearheaded by Dr. Dan McCannon, this brand new program supports the scholarly study of emerging spiritual movements, marginalized spiritualities, and the quote, innovative edges of established religious traditions. Note that there are also hundreds of other programs and centers elsewhere at Harvard that HDS students have access to for programming, funding, and other resources. In the bottom right-hand corner, you will see a photo of the wonderful faculty here at HDS, helmed by Dean David N. Hempton in the blue at the front. Faculty are very accessible to HDS students and are on the whole quite happy to provide guidance and mentorship. So in terms of the curriculum, there were over 230 HDS courses offered last year, and HDS students also have access to courses across the entire university, as well as throughout the Boston Theological Interreligious Consortium, or the BTI. This is a consortium of 10 theological institutions of higher education in the Boston area. The BTI offers easy cross-registration, as well as a range of other resources across institutions. For MDiv and MTS students, 50% of their coursework can be completed outside of HDS, so students truly can customize their HDS experience to create their own unique path through the program and get the preparation that each student needs for their goals. And if none of the thousands of courses available to you fit the bill, you can also work directly with HDS faculty to do an independent study. So it's safe to say that no two HDS students have the same transcript. Here's a little bit about student life. The Office of Student Life supports over 35 student organizations every year, and it's easy to start your own if there's something that doesn't exist that you think should exist. Some examples of student organizations are Queer Rights, the HDS Prison Education Project, the HDS Garden Group, and Third Chapter, a group for students over 50. These student organizations host over 60 student-led events each year, in addition to the over 500 recurring events, which include weekly worship services hosted by faith-based student organizations. The photo here is from the 3rd annual Black Religion, Spirituality, and Culture Conference, hosted by Harambe, a group for students of African descent, this past year, which brought together scholars and students from a wide range of institutions, as well as outside of academia. There are also 2 weekly events at HDS, noon service on Wednesdays and community tea on Tuesdays, and students have access to events and organizations across Harvard. Students always ask about financial aid as well. So HDS offers generous financial aid. 90% of our students receive funding, and this is available for the MTS and MDiv programs. We put the vast majority of our financial aid funding into need-based aid in order to get the most money to the most people who need it. And therefore, we strongly encourage everyone to submit a financial aid application so you can be considered for need-based aid. Excuse me. 10% of our students receive merit awards, and those are based solely on the strength of your application. And merit awards cover 100% of tuition and include a living stipend as well. So here's our application timeline. The application is currently available, and it is due on January 7th, 2021, and decisions are released in mid-March. Excuse me. If you're admitted, you will find out your financial aid package within 24 hours if you're applying to the MTS or MDiv program. And stay connected. We have lots of ways to stay connected with us through all of these different ways, and we're always happy to answer questions via email. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing now and ask Diane to join me. Hi, Diane.
Hello.
Do you mind introducing yourself before we get into our interview questions?
Sure. Happy to be here. Thank you. Thank you, Sarah, for inviting me, and welcome to all of you listening to this broadcast. So I'm Diane Moore. I'm the founding director of the new Religion and Public Life at HDS, and I am a senior scholar at the Center for the Study of World Religions and a lecturer in religion, conflict, and peace. I've been at the Divinity School for about 20 years now, and I was an MDiv student in the 1980s. So I know the school well, love the school, and I'm really pleased to be here to introduce you to this new degree program, which we're extremely excited about.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us. So I have some questions that I'll be posing to Diane, and then at the end, we will have time for Q&A. So feel free to put your questions in the Q&A as we go along, and we'll get to those at the end. So Diane, what is the Master of Religion and Public Life program, and what will students in this program be equipped with when they graduate?
Yes, as I mentioned, and as I know, Sarah, you mentioned in the introduction, it's a brand new program for us. In fact, it's our first new degree program in over 50 years. So we're excited about being able to offer this. The focus is for what we're calling experienced professionals, but we're using a very capacious understanding of professional that can include artists, activists, political organizers. It's really people who've been in work in fields or arenas that they have devoted themselves to for some time. Again, experiences we also have a wide range of understanding of what that means. But it's for people who have been working in arenas where they realize that the roles and the power of religion is functioning in ways that are confusing to them sometimes, or that they recognize that a better understanding, a deeper understanding of religion would really enhance their work. And so it's a one-year degree program, again, with people here in residence with us. And the requirements for the program are that potential candidates would apply with at least a roughly articulated idea of a project that they want to pursue relevant to their field. So we are assuming that the people who apply are experts in their own fields, in their own arenas, and we will work with them to then construct a course of study while they're here at the school that will be particular to their interests and their project. So the primary requirements are that, again, people would come with an idea in mind. They would participate in a seminar that I will lead. It's a full year seminar that is only available for other people in the Master of Religion Public Life program. So that seminar would form a cohort of other professionals in the Master of Religion Public Life program that would then form a very tight-knit cohort and support system for people through the year. And the second requirement is that the people in the program would then pursue and engage with their project, that they would then, at the end of their full year, they would present a public presentation of their project. They would pass an oral examination about the nature of their project that would be with two Harvard faculty members, and potentially, if they wanted to have someone in their field also be part of that. And again, they would then make a public presentation about their project that could be shared with a wider public. Along the way, they would take 9 or 10 courses that would again be fashioned in relationship to their interests. And I, as the director of this new degree and the new Religion Public Life program, would be one advisor for the new incoming candidates. Candidates would also be assigned a faculty advisor, an academic advisor. So each person in the program would have 2 faculty that are specifically interested in helping them think about and shape their program. 5 of those courses of the 9 or 10 that they would take would need to be taken at the Divinity School, but the other 4 could be taken in any other school at Harvard University. So again, relevant to their field. So we of course have a remarkable faculty in medicine, a remarkable faculty in law, in public health, in engineering, in business, in education. So again, any one of the other graduate programs would be available for students in this degree program.
Great, thank you so much. This is such an exciting new program. Will you tell us a little bit about what led to the creation of the Mrpl degree, and why is this the right time to launch this degree?
Right, well, so the Master of Religion Public Life degree is part of a wider Master of Religion Public Life program that is newly launched this year. And the program has actually been, many of us at the Divinity School have been involved in a variety of different projects that have focused on bridging the academy with the publics of a variety of sorts. I was the director of a program called the Religious Literacy Project that has now really become one of the pillars of the Religion and Public Life program. And the reason I started that program a while back was that we realized that religion, of course, is a really powerful force in human experience, but it is rarely understood by people outside of religious studies in terms of the complexity of that power and the nature of its intersection with other dimensions of human experience in political, economic, and social context. So fundamental premises of the program and why we wanted to launch the Religion Public Life program itself, and then particularly this master's program, is that we believe that people need to really understand the complexity of religion in its contemporary manifestations if they're really going to understand the complex issues that we're facing globally today. And that the roles that religions play are sometimes really explicit in terms of things like, I think many of us in the room will know that, for example, 81% of white evangelicals are supporting Donald Trump in the 2016 election, and about 70% of those white evangelicals are supporting him in this election. So those are pretty explicit ways that religions function. And so the program would help us understand, what does that look like? What does that mean? What are the confluence of factors that come together to create the conditions for a body of a community of people that have a long and complex history, and that themselves are internally diverse with a range of interests and understandings. What is it that is creating the conditions here in the mid 2016 and 2020 to rally around a presidential candidate who many would assume would be somewhat antithetical to the values that they hold? So there's a lot of complex factors that go into understanding that, and rather than just the simple number of 81 or 71% of white evangelical Christians supporting a particular presidential candidate. So, so the reason we wanted to offer a program like that, that's just one example, is to give people an ability to understand and ask different kinds of questions about the complex roles that religions play. Another reason we wanted to promote this program is that we recognize that, aside from our understanding and recognition of the power of religion in public in human experience, is that so many people don't actually have access to understand the complexity of religion, because the two main places where people learn about religion and religious experience is either in their own families, through their own family religious traditions, or if their family has no religious tradition, they learn something about religion from that context, also the nuns or people who would be humanist or atheist or agnostic. And then the other place, in terms of a broad understanding of religion, is through media of all sorts. And neither of those will give people a deeper understanding and capacity to analyze the power of how religions function in a complex way in human experience, in both negative and positive ways. The other assumption of the program is that when we say religion is a powerful force, we recognize that it's a powerful force that can be used to advance the full range of human agency, from heinous crimes against humanity to incredibly and almost unfathomable acts of courage, compassion, and creativity. So we feel like this is the time, not only now, but we feel like this, especially in the complexities of the challenges we face globally now, that it takes fresh thinking and creative collaborations across a range of different sectors of the public for us to think together and collaboratively and creatively about new ways to tackle these challenges that seem intractable. But then, in fact, we believe deeply that when we understand the power of how religions are functioning in these variety of spheres, can open up fresh insights and fresh pathways to be thinking in creative ways about solutions that may not be as presently understood in our current context.
Great, thank you so much for giving us that additional context. So we already have some great degrees at HDS. And can you talk a little bit about how the Mrpl is differentiated from the other degree programs we have? How are you looking at the differences?
Sure. Well, the Master of Divinity, as you well know, Sarah, is a three-year program and focused primarily, but not exclusively, but primarily for people who are coming out of or want to explore religion out of a particular or framework of a confessional or devotional understanding of religion, so that it is a program where people can move through to engage in potential religious leadership as a vocation or religious practice within traditions. Many people in the MDiv do other things for sure, but it's usually through an understanding of religion from perspective of faith, I'll say. The Master of Theological Studies, our 2-year degree program, is usually slated as usually one way to articulate is a kind of a non-devotional study of religion, religious studies understanding of religion, with a variety of different foci in areas of study, everything from religion, ethics, and politics to Islamic studies to Christian studies to American studies. So there's a lot of different areas of focus that people in the Master of Theological Studies will embark upon. And so both of those really focus on the study of religion pretty exclusively. Our program, our new program, is really looking at people who will come in with already an expertise in a particular area, whether it be an expertise as a practicing journalist or someone who is an established artist, or perhaps someone who has who's worked in government sectors at the local or state or national level. People who have been in public health, or potentially someone in humanitarian action, or people who've been community organizers or activists working on behalf of particular interests or arenas such as climate change or Black Lives Matter. So people who've been involved in, for a while, a set of understandings of working with a variety of different publics, that in the experience of their work, they have come upon a recognition in their own understanding that there are either religious constituencies that they're working with, or that there are frameworks about religion that are impacting the nature of their work, that they feel like they would better be able to do their work, or they would be more, their work would be enhanced or enriched by a deeper and more complex understanding of religion. So for us, the 1-year program, so it's a 1-year program. So they already come with a experience and a particular kind of expertise that they will then be enhancing through this deeper understanding of religion. And so it's really, I won't say that the Master of Divinity and Master of Theological Studies are, I don't want to differentiate this by age, but I will differentiate it by a sense of just where people are in their own vocational journeys.
Thanks. That's really helpful in kind of understanding how to think about who might be an appropriate fit for the MRPL program versus who might have somewhat similar interests in thinking about religion and public life, but would be best served in the MTS program, for example.
Right. For example, exactly.
Great. Thank you. So on that note, if someone isn't the right fit for the MRPL program, they don't quite meet the criteria that you've outlined as the type of applicant you're looking for this, and they come to HDS to do a different degree program, how can they tap into the resources of religion and public life? What does that look like?
Yeah, great question. Thank you. So we're excited about the entire religion and public life program for a variety of reasons. So again, the Master of Religion and Public Life is only one piece of it. Another critical piece of the new Religion and Public Life program is an opportunity for people in the Master of Divinity or Master of Theological Studies, if they're interested, to pursue in sync with their degree programs. They could also earn a certificate in religion and public life in a variety of different professions. So they could earn a certificate in religion and public life in education, or in journalism, or in public health, or in media and entertainment, for example. So there's a variety of different religion and public life certificates available for, again, Master of Theological Studies and Master of Divinity students. And the requirements for that are that they would take an introductory course in the arena of the certificate that they wish to pursue. So an introductory course that would be designated in the course description as fulfilling a requirement for certificate in religious studies and journalism, for example. So they take the introductory course. They would also then be eligible to and required for the certificate to pursue an internship relevant to the certificate. So an internship for journalists might be working with any number of internship opportunities that we're developing for the certificate program. We've had interns working for Christian Century. We've had interns working at the Washington Post, for example. We've had interns working for local newspapers. We've had interns working for magazines. So a variety of different possibilities. But the second requirement for the certificate would be an internship that the program funds. So, and we will help broker for students interested. And then the final requirement for the certificate would be to do a synthesis project, to do something that would wrap up and tie in their work as a Master of Divinity or Master of Theological Studies student with the certificate. So how do they, in their work and in this arena, be able to then identify and articulate how they would like to move into the world to contribute to the public understanding of religion through the certificate? And to earn a certificate gives you a designated recognition that you have a base level of understanding of the public understanding of religion. And that's what we're eager to be establishing. But there are other ways too. There are a number of programs that we're sponsoring through the Religion and Public Life program that currently, even this year, are online. So you're welcome to participate even now as non-students in some of the programs that we're offering, and would encourage you to go to the website, Religion Public Life website, and sign up for our newsletter. And those, of course, would be available then for students here at the Divinity School. The other is, frankly, that for the new Master of Religion Public Life program, we're going to be bringing in these remarkable professionals from a variety of places who will be in classes with the rest of our student body. And so to just be able to be in conversation and community with these people, they will certainly benefit tremendously from having the access and opportunity to be in conversation with Master of Divinity and Master of Theological Studies students and our Master of Theology students. And I'm very excited about having their presence here on campus to be with us.
Great, thank you. That's really helpful. And I see your dog also has some comments about the
yeah, the Zoom life, cats and dogs and kids, and forgive me. His name is Louis, by the way, and he comes with me to school when COVID is not with us. So if you come to the school, whatever program you come into, you will eventually meet my dog Louis.
I feel like we buried the lead. That's the selling point of the Mrpl.
There you go. There you go.
Great. So one final question, and then we'll turn it over to the Q&A. What advice do you have for applicants to the Mrpl program? This is our first time collecting applications for them. So I'm imagining people might be wondering, how do I approach the application process?
Right. Well, I think the best way to approach it is to be able to think about, again, and you're not locked into a project. You won't be locked into following up with exact letter of the law project, but you should apply with a project in mind, because it's only it's a one-year degree. So the project will be the orientation for you to consider the ways that you want to engage the program. So, for example, if you are a journalist who covers politics, I already gave this one example. You might want to come with a project to say that you want to delve into more of the history and the complexity of white evangelical Christianity, and what is happening today, to better understand what's happening today in relationship to the influences that white evangelical Christians are having on the political landscape. Another potential project, if you are a human rights lawyer in Myanmar, for example, and you want to understand what's happening in relationship and have a deeper understanding of the complex confluence of forces that has created the rise of Buddhist nationalisms in the current context, especially if you are really thinking about the complexity of this, the relationship between the rise of Buddhist nationalism and colonialism. So that would be a really wonderful project to be able to really think about, like, to be able to explore from a perspective of a human rights lawyer, to rather than have simplistic representations of of the binaries of what's happening in that very complex region, to recognize that you need to understand something about why, not just the fact of Buddhist nationalism, but what are the complex confluence of forces that have created that to be such a powerful force in this contemporary moment. And then another potential project, if you're an educator, a secondary school educator, and you teach courses in world religions, or you teach courses in world history, and you recognize that better understanding of religion is required, not only to give your students the tools and language they need to understand the complex roles that religions play, but to better align what you're teaching with the scholarship in religious studies, which is, of course, a fundamental requirement for all K through 12 education. Religion is, interestingly enough, one of the few academic disciplines that's taught that isn't aligned with the actual study of that discipline, although that's changing. So someone might want to come to have a project to really think about it, not just revamping their course, but how do they help their colleagues understand the differences and what it means to think about religion in these new ways. So one other thing I want to say, Sarah, that I didn't mention earlier, is that when we think about these different arenas, we think about the certificate in religion and public life to be a pretty introductory arena to be able to recognize the complex forces and be able to know how to think about religion in particular spheres and particular arenas. For the Master of Religion and Public Life, our hope and our aim is that people who graduate with that degree will be able not only to engage and advance their own project and complete a project, but they will become and be able then to be resources for their peers, and their peers not only in whatever context they're in, but for other professionals in the arena that they work in, so that they can become educators for peers or resource for peers around what it means to think about religion in more complex ways. And I want to make one more final connection around how we understand the importance of religion in public life. Years ago, decades ago, before we had what is now very common, I think, in almost every profession, and certainly in public conversation and discourse, the recognition that we need to pay attention to issues and dynamics related to race, ethnicity, gender, sexuality, class, are now commonplace, again, in professions and in a wide array of academic disciplines. We believe that religion, the understanding of the complexities of religion, we are at the early stages of what was earlier decades ago, when people were just starting to say, what does it mean to think about history through the lens of race and gender and ethnicity? And so this is the sort of thing we're asking now, is recognizing that consciousness about the lens of religion. What does it mean to ask the religion question, or to perceive something, or to analyze something through the lens of a complex and capacious understanding of religion, is similar to what earlier, again, decades ago, earlier scholarship and recognition of the importance in civic life of consciousness around gender, race, ethnicity, class, has now become relatively commonplace. So ultimately, through this program and through this degree, we are really wanting to create some foundations in professions and in, again, public understanding, to be able to encourage people outside of religion, outside of religious studies, to be able to understand the power and importance of understanding of religion as it functions in human experience. So we're very excited. I feel incredibly honored to be part of this important new initiative, and extremely excited to welcome new students to this inaugural year of the Master of Religion and Public Life program.
Great, thank you so much. That's really helpful. And one thing I think is also worth mentioning is that actually this new Mrpl degree, in the application, this is the only degree program where we don't ask for a statement of purpose. Instead, we ask 4 questions that will help you kind of flush out your project and what you're trying to get out of it.
Okay, great.
So let's turn now to the Q&A. I'm happy to answer questions about the admissions logistics side of things, and then Diane can answer the other things. So if you don't mind putting your questions in the Q&A functionality rather than the chat, that would be great. So the first one, Diane, if you can answer this one, can you please let us know how many students will be admitted in this Mrpl program?
Great. Yeah, thanks. It's a really important question, actually. It's going to be a relatively small cohort, which I'm excited about. So we're looking probably between 6 to 15 people, essentially, especially for the early years, because in part because we will be giving a lot of individual attention to each of the people who are admitted. So it's a highly specialized program in that regard. And because students in the program will be able to create their own, essentially their own program of study, the importance to be able to work very carefully with each and every student to be able to construct something that will be meaningful and generative for them is something that we take really seriously. So it won't be a large cohort of students. And so we're also eager to have that cohort themselves become what we anticipate and hope would be not just a resource for each other for the year, but lifelong resources, like peers then in this work across disciplines, which is the other dimension that we're excited to, that we hope the program will help spark, is cross-disciplinary collaborations among people that have related but different kinds of fields where they may rarely have a chance to intersect. So we're excited about the intimacy of the program, if you will, and the relationships that we will be able to support both within the program among participants and with us on the faculty.
Great, thank you. The next question is, are there rolling admissions for the Mrpl program? For those who need to plan their fall semester ahead of time, can an early admissions decision be requested? I'm happy to answer that. We just have one single deadline, January 7th, 2021. So we do not have rolling admissions. So if you want to be considered for fall 2021, please make sure you get your application in by January 7th. And we cannot offer any early admissions decisions. All of our admissions decisions go out in mid-March. And that's across all of our programs. The next question I'll pose to you, Diane, can the cross-registration courses count toward a double major? Do I have to apply to both schools, or can I register after enrolling with HDS?
Oh, that's a great question. So let me, certainly there's nothing in the Master of Religion Public Life program that would prohibit a combined cross-registration and credit for another course. So particularly things that might have cross-registration. But you're reminding me of another aspect of the Religion Public Life program that we are highlighting that has always existed, but we are trying to create more coherence. So I'll tell you about this, which is actually joint degree or dual degree opportunities for the master, well, for both Master of Theological Studies and Master of Divinity, where we have a relationship with the Fletcher School for Public Life at Tufts, and a relationship with the Kennedy School of Government. So our MTS MDiv students can, if you apply to both programs, you have to be admitted separately to both programs, our master's programs here at the Divinity School, and either the Tufts program or the Kennedy School program. If you are accepted into both, you are able to then receive and work together to receive a Master of, I can't remember the particular ones, but basically Master in Public Life, Public Policy at Tufts, and MTS or MDiv degree at Harvard in 1 year less than you would have if you were doing both of them separately. So if you're going to do a MTS, it's a 2-year degree, but you would be able to do both programs in 3 years as opposed to 4 years if you were to do them concurrently. If it were a Master of Divinity, you can do it in 4 years as opposed to 5 if you were to do each of those concurrently, because both the Tufts degree and the Kennedy School degree are 2-year programs. So that is actually already an established way to get a dual degree in government. And one of the things we're doing through the Religion Public Life program is we're actually giving some structure to that and some advising to that, which otherwise before now has basically been students kind of on their own, applying to each place separately, and then just kind of figuring out the nature of those relationships. It's a great opportunity, and I would say if people are interested in joint degrees or dual degrees, I would encourage you to look into that. But the the 1 year, because it's only a 1 year program here at for the Master of Religion Public Life, the concentration to really focus on your projects might limit the capacity for you to pursue a dual degree with another that would have other kinds of requirements. And we are going to need to be very focused on those projects and the capacity for you to really use your very limited amount of time, 1 year, to do it to the full advantage of your ability to really concentrate in depth on something that will, again, have a depth as opposed to a wide breadth, and to avoid fragmentation that a dual degree at that for a 1 year degree would probably invite.
Great, thank you. Here is the next question for you. What impact might COVID-19 have on the program if the pandemic continues through 2021?
Yeah, well, we'll be bound by the rules of Harvard and the rules of the Divinity School. There would be certainly, in one interesting and relatively strange way, as has happened this year, the fact that people have to be in place and not on campus would allow actually for a little more flexibility for people to be able to live and stay where they are living, as opposed to move to Cambridge potentially for people who would need to do that for a year. So the program will absolutely run next year, and the capacity for you to do the work and the projects will all be in place. The one thing that would, in fact, I would even say I was going to say related to the certificate program, another dimension of the Religion Public Life program, I was going to say that internships may be curtailed, but in fact, we're developing all kinds of internship opportunities online as an alternative, even when COVID, hopefully when, not if, COVID restrictions are lifted, that we'll be able to provide a lot of different kinds of opportunities for people to pursue internships without necessarily having to be physically in place to do so. But there's nothing that would hinder anyone from pursuing the full year of internship experience, of the Master of Religion Public Life experience, if what we hope is not going to happen, that COVID will still be pertain, and the restrictions of COVID will pertain for next year.
Great, thanks so much. And I do want to add also, this is something we've been talking a lot about in the admissions office. And one of the things that some of our current students have reported is how surprised they were at how much they could still feel like part of the community, even doing this all virtually, and have been really pleasantly surprised by the ways in which there's new and different opportunities for community too. So to echo what Diane said, hopefully we won't be online next year, but if we are, at least we'll have a year under our belt and have a good sense of how to really do a good job and make it feel like more than just showing up for classes.
Right, absolutely.
I'm interested to study the influences of religion arbitration process and more generally ethical corporate diversity initiatives. This seems like it may require more than a year to study. What are my options to continue past 1 year?
Oh, great question. So again, this is Cassie, I think. So Cassie, thanks for the question. I would say if you have already experience in this arena, in terms of either arbitration processes or yourself are involved in corporate diversity initiatives, then I think we could give you a good foundation, not to be comprehensive in your understanding of the religious influences of those important and complex practices. But what you'll get at the end of a year is you will know how to find out more related to the arenas that you need to learn about. So in other words, we'll give you the tools of knowing what kinds of questions are the ones to ask related to whatever profession or set of questions you're wanting to pursue. That's really the heart of the program. So it's never going to be a comprehensive representation of religion and law, for example, or religion and business or religion and diversity studies ever. But it's going to give you language and a framework. There's a framework that cuts across the Religion and Public Life program that is a methodology, if you will, to understand the intersection of religion and public life. That is the heart, the intellectual heart that cuts across everything we're doing for the RPL. You'll learn that, and you'll have a chance to apply that through your studies. And learning that method, and then being able to then also just just enhance and sharpen research skills that you would do in any master's program. And then the content of the particular courses that you want to be able to pursue will also give you further understanding of ways to access further resources that are going to be relevant. So when we think about the power of this one-year degree, it's a way to think about religion and the skills to enhance your understanding of what you need to do to further pursue this work with a very strong foundation to be able to do so. So I would say that short of then another either degree program, if you want to pursue another degree program, you're asking what kind of options there are. Short of that, which I think I would assume probably is not of interest to you, I would say to stay connected with us and then to continue to be able to pursue with, and part of the other, your question's actually helping me remember another really critical part of the program. We're eager to establish networks of people. So it's not just your own cohort, but we want to establish networks. And we already have, part of what we know that allowed us to know that the creation of the Master of Religion Public Life was a relevant creation, was that we've been working now with professionals of a wide variety of fields for the past 5 years. And we have already a vast array of networks. And we want to build upon those networks through this program. So part of a participation in this program would be that you would then be linked in to an active network of professionals who can continue to help both advise each other and support each other in further work. One more thing, we are, it's not established yet, but one of the things we're working on this year is that the last piece of the Religion Public Life program will be a robust executive education set of resources for people who are outside of our degree programs, who would like to access both the faculty that are here and the professionals that will be that we're working with to create opportunities for ongoing and continuing education and executive education for people outside of formal degree programs. And so that's going to eventually, it's not in place yet, but it will eventually be another piece of that. So that was Kathy, that was a long answer, and I hope a helpful one. But I appreciate the question. And again, if for any of you in the room, if you'd like to further have conversations about any of this, please don't hesitate to contact me. I'm very happy to be talking with people one-on-one about your interests and aspirations.
And Diane, how would you like them to contact you? If it's via email, would you mind putting it in the chat box so they know how to?
Sure. Or you can find it too if you just Google me and Harvard. That's probably easier if you, like me, never know where you make notes and then you can't find them. But I'm happy to put my contact information here.
Perfect. Okay, so the next question is, can you talk about what you will look for when evaluating applications? And I am happy to start and give the general kind of admissions perspective, and I'll ask Diane to jump in if there's anything else she wants to add about the Mrpl specific element. So in general, when we are approaching the application process, we take a really holistic approach to that. And so that means that we are not looking at any one thing. There's no minimum GPA requirement or set of credentials you need to have when you apply. We're really looking at the whole package. And the most important thing is really be authentic and make it clear why you're applying to this program and what you hope to get out of it, which we think that the 4 questions we've posed for the Mrpl application will really suss out and get to. So you'll be well prompted along that way. But we're looking at everything. We're looking at your transcripts. We're looking at your letters of recommendation. And I see there's a question about that too. So we'll talk about that more in a moment. But we are taking all of that into account. One thing that will be important to show that you are prepared to do well in an academically rigorous program, but there are a lot of different ways to show that too. So that's kind of the generic answer. There's no one thing that you can do, just put forward as strong an application as possible and tell us who you are and why this program and why HDS.
Yeah, I think I just want to underscore that really and I've sat on the admissions committee on and off for several years, and I think the same criteria that Sarah just articulated are the ones that we would want for the Mrpl. First of all, just that it's a good fit. You need to you'd be wise to just take a look at the offerings, the faculty, to make sure that I say this to everybody at the master's level when you're trying to decide between programs. look at what's required of you, and make sure that the requirements aren't things that you feel like you have to just suffer through to get to what you need to do, but that a really well articulated program, the requirements will be something you would want to do anyway, because you feel like they would be the building blocks for you to be able to do the important intellectual work that you want to pursue at the master's level. So I would say pay attention to that. The other thing is to pay attention to what kind of courses are available, and are you really excited about them? Are they going to be able to help you pursue the intellectual and professional interests that bring you to a program like this? So to make sure it does, but a particular course may not be available when you come, but the idea is that are the kinds of things offered, do they animate you? Do you get excited about them? Can you kind of feel heart racing of enjoy at the opportunity to think about being able to focus in these ways? And then the final thing is to think about who your peers are going to be. This is important for a program anywhere, because at the graduate level, and many of you most likely know this, some of you may have already been done other graduate degrees. I'm not sure who's in the room in terms of your background or who will be listening to this, but your peers in these programs are going to be are also going to potentially be your vocational peers, your professional peers. And one of the best assets that we have at the Divinity School are the students themselves for each other. And there's certainly what keeps me just so excited to be here is the kind of, not just the quality of students we bring, but the diversity of students who come here. It's a remarkable diversity. And that diversity for me just creates not just a vital and just kind of a popping intellectual environment, but it's also about people who really have commitments outside of just their own interests. That's the other thing that I think that people who come to the Divinity School are attracted to. And anyone who comes to the program in religion and public life are going to be concerned about our civic life together in whatever arena it is that you're going to be exploring. And so for me, that kind of a vocational commitment is something that I feel very honored to be able to work with students to work with them to help shape those vocations and to learn with and from them about what they're coming to the school to do. So back to the application, just make sure this is the right fit for you. And if it is, then talk about how. That's really, you do that and you're going to have a very strong application with a clear focus of what you want to do here that is doable in a year. I think that's the other thing. I'm going to jump ahead, actually, if I could, Sarah, because one of the questions is, from Susan, thank you, Susan, must all the project be completed in the year of attending the Mrpl program? For instance, whoops,
sorry, disappeared there.
Shifted. I didn't see the rest of the project. I didn't see the, for example, but I will answer.
For example, if part of the project included planning a series of dialogues or symposiums.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to say thank you for the question. It's a really good one. We want a project that has some potential like ending, but it could be part of a larger project. So you can do one example of a podcast, for example, or of a symposium that you could plan but not have necessarily had to execute yet, because a year is not that long. But a clear planning of a project that will be implemented in the future is absolutely an appropriate framing for what it means to participate in this program. A really great project proposal.
Perfect, thanks. All right, so we have 6 minutes left before this ends, and we have a hard stop at 6 p.m. So we're going to go through the last questions quickly. I'm a practicing attorney, age 60. I figure I've got another couple of decades of professional practice ahead of me yet. I'm not too old for your program, am I?
No, you are not. In fact, again, absolutely not. You're a practicing attorney at 60. I figure you've got probably another 30 of your life ahead. So there's a lot of time. So absolutely, 60 is. We don't have an age limit, but there's no age limit. And someone who's more advanced in their career is absolutely welcome in this program.
Great. We got a question from someone who is late joining today's meeting. And since we are almost out of time, I'm just going to say this recording will be sent out to everyone. So you'll be able to go back and view the entire thing. And then if you have more questions, you're welcome to follow up with us. Who would be best suited to write recommendations for the Mrpl degree?
Also a good question. Certainly colleagues, I think colleagues in your profession would be a good source for a recommendation. And Sarah, can you remind me what we're asking or suggesting for people to do in the actual application itself?
Yeah, so we ask for 3 letters of recommendation. In general, we suggest at least one should be an academic letter of recommendation, but we also know that some people who are far out from their time in academia, that might not be feasible. We kind of think about a 10-year gap. If you've been out of school for 10 years or longer, we understand you might not be able to get that, but then think about asking people who can speak to your transferable skills. So colleagues, supervisors who can talk about the work you've done that are applicable to the work you'd be doing in a program like this as well. If you've been out of school for less than a decade, we'd suggest at least trying to get an academic letter of recommendation. Those are really helpful. And the other thing I'll just mention briefly about letters of rec is we are much more excited about getting letters from people who know you well, rather than people who have fancy titles. We often have people who, get letters of rec from people who have a really impressive title, but it's clear they don't actually know the applicant really well. And we would much rather just hear from someone who really knows you, can speak about to your strengths and how you'll do well in graduate school, and can give us specifics and really talk about why you're so great.
Oh, I just want to underscore that. Yeah, names don't really matter. It's who knows you. It's who knows you. Please trust that. Please trust that. I just want to say that.
All right, so last question. Can the projects be research heavy, survey research, for instance?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Again, projects is broadly defined. And the key factor would be that it would be relevant to your area of interest, your profession, again, broadly defined, and that would be doable in a year, or the planning of it's doable in a year. And the other is that you really, you're excited about it. I mean, that's the other thing. You should come with something that you feel really excited to pursue. And that's the other piece. This is not, I hope no one would apply to the degree to get another degree, or to get a paper with letters, be able to add letters to your name. Time's too precious, time's too short, and the work is too important. So again, that you feel excited to pursue. And the range is pretty much really, really broadly open-ended, which is one of the things I'm so excited about in relationship to this program. You really get to shape it in consultation with peers, with faculty, with me, with other faculty that you'll be encountering, and with your professional peers, potentially, for even as you are applying, to kind of think about with them what would be useful for the profession itself.
Great, thank you so much. To answer the final question, yes, you are more than welcome to contact Dr. Moore directly. Just Google her and her HDS profile will pop up with her direct email address. You're also welcome to email admissions. That's admissions@hds.harvard.edu with any questions about the application process as that comes up. If you have not yet started your application, but you're thinking about applying this year, I would strongly encourage you to actually go in there and just open that application. It's all online, and read through the instructions. And then reach out if you have any questions, especially given the pandemic. It might take a little longer to get things like your transcripts or letters of recommendation, so give yourself time. And then a quick final plug, we do have our open house next Wednesday. We'll have a ton of content, and there's also a lot of opportunities to connect with current students as well as faculty and staff. So check out our website for that. We'd love to have you join us. And if you're not available that day, the content will be available after that as well. Dr. Moore, thank you so much for joining us. This has been really great and so exciting to hear about this new program. I'm excited to see who applies.
I'm extremely excited. Thank you all for coming, and those who might be listening after the fact. And thank you so much, Sarah, for hosting this. I just also want to say, for people who want to learn more about the program itself, the Religion Public Life program, please go ahead and Google that. Also, there's a very rich and vast website that can give you lots of information about what we're doing with the larger program. So I hope that you'll check that out. So thanks again, everyone.
Bye. Thanks for joining us. Take care.